All right, so if we just want f prime of 3, and you can follow along with your calculator or just watch this. I'm going to post the recording and you can try it later. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm actually not sure how this works on Desmos. I'm not familiar with that, but it probably does it somehow. So we are going to go into the math menu and find derivative, which is number 8, and derive. So I'm going to choose that. We're going to hit our variable key, d dx, and then in here you're going to put the function, and then here you're going to put the value that you want to evaluate the derivative at. So our function is square root 6x plus 5, and then it's such that, the bar means such that, and we want this at 3. And then it just spits out your answer at you. Remember, how many decimal points do we need?
3.
Good, 3. And you can round or you can just truncate. I like to truncate just because I don't even have to think about it. Just take the first 3 that you see, so 0.625. Did anybody remember that from last year, Math 8?
I did.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the Math 9? Because whenever we get into integrals, because you use Math 9 a lot. Math 8 doesn't come up as much, but Math 9 you end up using an awful lot. So anyway, that's if you are allowed a calculator, you can just use that and type it in. So find the derivative for all of these. I'm going to rewrite this as 5x to the negative 2. And when we do the power rule, multiplying this down, that'll be negative 10. And then subtracting 1 from the power will make that negative 3. I like to fix the negative exponents. I had been getting asked, how much do you have to simplify these? Really, you don't need to simplify at all unless it's multiple choice. If it's not multiple choice, you can just stop and leave it alone. I do like to get rid of the negative exponents though, so I do usually ask you to just go ahead and flip those back because it doesn't take very long. All right, this one will be chain rule because we've got stuff inside of the square root. So the derivative of the outside function, just doing derivative of square root, will be 1 over 2 square root, and it's not just x, it is all of that stuff. And then we're going to chain on the derivative of that stuff, which actually I'm going to go ahead and just write it straight in the numerator. And that derivative would be 15x to the 4th plus 2. Is this going okay so far? Like, is this what you guys got?
Yes.
Okay, and you guys shared with each other. When I came around to the breakout rooms, no one's screen was on, so, but like the purpose was for you guys to like share your answers with each other. So you can like catch mistakes and stuff. All right, this one will be quotient rule. So it is the denominator and then times the derivative of the numerator, which would just be 2, minus the numerator, and then the derivative of the denominator would be 8x to the 3rd. The minus 5 is a constant, so that's going to drop out. And then it is over the denominator squared. And yeah, I wouldn't do anything to that unless it's multiple choice. If it's multiple choice and your choices have been simplified, you know, you would have to distribute this 2, multiply these together, see if there's any like terms, but otherwise just stop, because if you make a mistake, then it's going to be wrong. All right, this one will be product rule. This is going to be the first function, and this is going to be the second function. So it will be the first thing times the derivative of the second, which would be 7, plus the second thing times derivative of the first. I'm just going to write a note to myself off to the side. This would be x to the 4/5. So when I do that derivative, bringing that down would be 4/5 x, and then we're going to subtract 1, so that would be negative 1/5. If we do 4/5 minus 5/5, we'll get negative 1/5. So that will be 4/5, and then the negative exponent comes back down to the denominator. So that'll be a 5th root of x. And I ran out of room here, almost made it all the way through the problem. This will be plus, and then derivative of x squared is 2x. I'm so sorry that went down to the next line. I'll fix it and make it look nice before I post this. But I would not do anything to that. I would just leave that alone. I don't think there's anything you really can do to that. That's just a gigantic mess. All right, we're going to write an equation of a tangent line. An equation means you need two things. You need a point and you need a slope. So our point of tangency is going to be at 1, and I'm going to take 1 and plug it in. So the numerator would be 5, and the denominator would be 7. So 5/7. Slope comes from the derivative. And what rule are we going to need to do this one?
Quotient.
Would it be product rule or quotient rule? Good, quotient. All right, so it's going to be the denominator, and then derivative of the numerator would be 8x minus numerator. Derivative of the denominator would just be 9, and then over the denominator squared. And we're going to plug in 1 to that derivative. So f prime of 1. Oh goodness. All right, let's see. So this first part would be 7 and then times 8. So that'll be 56 minus, this will be, what is that? 5 times 9, so 45 over 7 squared, so 49. So let's see, what is that? 11/49. So that is going to be our slope. So again, the point came from the original function. Slope of a tangent line comes from the derivative. This is our point, this is our slope, and we're just going to put it all together in the equation. So y minus 5/7 equals 11/49 parentheses x minus 1. And just to show you the math 8 on the calculator again, and I guess we can do this to check our work. If we were going to do the derivative of this function at 1, I'm going to go to math 8. It's d dx. That just means take a derivative with respect to x. And then in here, I'm going to type the function. And then such that x equals 1. And let's see if that's 11/49. And it is. Well, rounding is a little off, but our answer is correct. Is this what you guys got? Any confirmation? Is this going okay? Feedback, help me out here. Like, it's hard because if I was in a classroom with all of you, I could like real easily see how we were doing, but I just don't know because I'm not with you.
I think we're doing good.
Okay, it's the same. I had to keep on checking on all of you, like trying not to be a pest, but it's like, okay, what number are you guys on? What number are you guys on? Because if we were in the same room together, I could just look around and be like, oh, everybody's halfway or something. But I have no way to gauge where everybody is, so you'll have to deal with me pestering you. All right, and then these last ones are chart problems. I like these because there's no, there's actually like no math, there's no algebra, it's just pure calculus. So this says d dx f times g. So that is your product rule. So you are literally just going to write out the product rules. First thing, derivative of the second, plus the second, and then derivative of the first. And then you just have to go and like scavenger hunt, gather all those values from the table. We're doing this at x being 2. So f of 2 is -3. G prime of 2 is 3. G of 2 is -5. And then f prime of 2 is 6. And then this last one is f of g of x. So this is your chain rule. So literally just write out the chain rule. It's f prime, and then g of x stays the same. You do the derivative of the outside, the inside stays the same, and then chain on the derivative of the inside. And we're gonna just find all these values from the table. So first, g of 3 is gonna go right here. So g of 3 is 1. So this whole part is 1. Let me just write that out. And we are plugging in 3 here. So we're going to do f prime of 1, which is -4. And then g prime of 3, which is 2.